As I heard, many of you are from outside of our home markets, from far, far away countries. Those far, far away countries are countries that aren't the Baltics and Sweden. So I have to start with a little introduction. What is Swedbank and why am I here today and why I'm sharing the experience of issuing startup loans together with Tehar, together with Kredex. So Swedbank is the leading universal bank in the region. We have 4 home markets, as I already shortly described, the Baltics and Sweden. Almost half of the market is under our control, and our position is the strongest here in Estonia, where we have approximately 60% of the market. So we are the leading bank, we are traditional bank, we are traditional commercial bank. So why are we issuing those loans for startup companies? Why are we doing such risky business? That's because our purpose is to promote good financial situation for everyone. We are a bank for the many, we are a bank for everyone. Here come in the problem with startups. They are really, really risky. And from the viewpoint of traditional bank, they aren't good partners to issue loans because the failure rate is really, really high. So why do we do business with them? Because we want to promote the entrepreneurship here in Estonia. We want to grow small businesses. We want to put some more input to Estonian economy. And without Kredex, without this beautiful loan scheme, or without this good guarantee scheme, it would be impossible. And why? Because usually the startups only, let's say, 1 out of every 10 is successful. Also, we don't have any information how to pick out those companies that will be the successful ones because we don't have any credit history about them. We don't know what kind of people with what kind of capabilities are running those businesses. Also, those new startups, they don't have any collaterals. So usually when they default, then we are empty-handed. Also, the owners of those startup companies, they don't want to put their own collateral behind those loans. They don't want to invest into those companies. Sometimes they don't even have anything to invest into those companies. That's maybe the connection that we have with microloans. As I heard the definition in the first presentation today, that this is a loan for those who don't have their own funds to start up businesses. So together with Kredex, who gives us guarantee up to 75% of the loan amount, we can solve the problem with collaterals. And Kredex is actually backed by the Estonian state. So for us, it's actually a state guarantee. And to issue loans with the guarantee of Estonian Republic, I think that it's a good business. Let's see what we have done so far. We have issued 123 loans in total amount of 3.1 million euros. It's divided quite well between different sectors in the Estonian economy. Mainly it has gone to manufacturing, to accommodation, to retail, and also to scientific, technical and professional activities. I think that it's a really good deviation, and it shows that the scheme works for everyone. So, but there still are some problems. And the problems, let's say the main 4 are that it's quite complicated to issue a startup loan with Kredex guarantee. And why? Because at first we have to go through our own credit process. We have to give it our own credit decision. Afterwards, we forward all our documents to Credex. We wait for their decision. Then we get the decision. Then we prepare the loan agreements. Then we sign them. And then we constantly monitor those. So it's quite complicated, long process that is expensive for us to sell. And also, it's complicated for the startups who are applying for those loans, because it takes several weeks for a company to receive this loan. At the same time, from the market, there's a possibility to receive a loan in the same day. And also, we are quite oftenly blamed that we don't want to issue loans to small companies, to startups, that we are really cruel, and we force those companies to take loans from something that in financial world we call the 3 Fs, friends, family, and fools. However, the loan issuers, they don't actually acknowledge the fact that they are those 3 Fs, because what it happens, those friends and family, they compare the loan interest with the bank deposit that gives them today 1 to 2% on annual basis. That's really low. And compared to the 8% that we are taking from the company, it seems that there's a possibility to make some profit. But actually, we have the experience and we see that it isn't that way. But always the friends and family, the trust is different, and sometimes the personal relationships are put as collateral for those loans. And the third F, the fools, or in Russian media they are called the strange uncles. They issue a bit different loans. The interest rate for those loans is still 8%. It seems as a good deal for the startup because, come on, the bank takes 8% and it takes a few weeks to get the loan, but they don't see the small difference that when we ask 8% on annual basis, then the strange uncles from the market, they take 8% on monthly basis. So the difference is quite huge. But for a small startup, they don't have so good financial literacy, so they don't understand the difference. They just see that, oh, bank issues a loan at 8%, and this strange uncle also gives me a loan at 8%, so I will take the loan because it's easier. The uncle doesn't ask for financial data, they don't monitor me so well, etc., etc. This is from the market. Then what else? Startups, they usually have really low credit scores. And as the loans are issued from our balance sheet, the loans are ours, they are only backed by Credex, then they tie in lots of capital, and it makes it quite expensive for us to lend to those companies. And actually, I have to say that today, even I would say that we are making loss with those loans, but for us, it's just important to be on the market, to support the startups, because maybe in the future, they will be successful companies and our clients. And it's also a part of our package for the startup companies. Also, the number of loans, I mentioned 123 loans. It's half of the loans that Credex has issued from the scheme. It's really low because we have done it for 4 full years at only 123 loans. Every month in Estonia, 1,200 businesses are started. And in 4 years, we have issued loans only for 1/10 of the companies that are created every month. So I would say that the need for the startup financing is much, much, much larger than what we can provide today. And also, for us, it's a problem that half of the applications are rejected by credits, because we already do the first credit decisions. Only those loans that we approve in our credit committee, only those applications are forwarded to credits. And here's the problem. It makes it even more expensive to issue the loan, because half of the work that we do doesn't give anything back to us. However, those are the problems. We are working together with credits to solve them, to make the program wider, to make it easier and simpler to issue the loans. And for now, I would say that this is the only scheme how and from where we can issue loans for those promising Estonian startups. I think that about few of those you have read from Forbes, from economists, from different international newsletters, let's say. And that's about it. A small, short introduction. When you have questions, then I'm more than ready to share my experience.
Can I ask you, if Credx doesn't give the guarantee, do you sometimes as a bank still invest or not?
When it's a startup loan, when we decide to ask a guarantee from Credx, then without Credx we don't issue it. When we see that we don't need Credx, then we even don't apply for Credx guarantee. As also Lehar mentioned, that today the guarantee fee from Credx side is 3% of the loan amount, so it's almost half of the interest rate that we are asking from our clients. And when we don't see so high level risks, then we are taking the fee to ourselves.
Second question, how does your monitoring process look like if you do issue a loan?
It's actually the standard monitoring process. It's same as for ordinary loans that we issue from Swedbank to enterprises.
It was mentioned that the application process was changed. In the beginning it was that the companies had to apply with Credx, and then it was, after assessment, delivered to the banks. Now it's the opposite way. What was the reason why you have changed, and is it more effective now than it was before?
One thing that I didn't mention was that why do we have 50 or 60% market share in Estonia? It's because of our really, really wide and good branch network. So for Estonian startups, even if they are from some really small village, let's say somewhere in the southern Estonia, then they can go to our branch, apply for the loan and guarantee from the branch, and then we do all the work for the companies. We are, let's say, a distribution network for Credx.
Thank you. Are there any difference in the evaluation system in a startup, or if own company has some history before the new company founded?
Yes, there are differences, and as I mentioned already, the lack of credit history is a really strong negative input to our credit scoring models. The models are really complex and really long to explain here. It would take quite many hours to explain those, and also they are under bank secrecy, so I cannot explain those more exactly. But yes, there is a difference. Startups are always more probable to default than companies that are already active, who have employees, clients, positive cash flow. Of course, there's a difference.